Welcome to Pre-Beginner Improv. My name is Alan Kliffer, and I'm the instructor of this online professional development tutorial. During this video, you'll see various examples of exercises from a previously recorded improv class taught to professional actors. Now, before you watch these lessons, check out the materials folder, which you should have received along with this video. Those materials will teach you how to best set up your virtual classroom, and you can find a time code sheet to skip through this video as needed. Improvisation is all about positivity and using the basic principle of yes and. I hope you can take some of these exercises in this tutorial and bring them into your own classrooms. Now that you've familiarized yourself with these materials, let's take a look into the virtual classroom as I lead a virtual physical warm-up. It's a little hard to make corrections on body posture and all on Zoom, but what you're going to try to do is, if you have a large enough space, you're going to try to at least show the students your own whole body when you do the actual physical warm-up. You'll try to make corrections as you can, but unfortunately you won't really be able to, so all you'll be able to do is really tell your participants in the class how to do this warm-up. So what I'm going to do with my 3 participants here, I'm going to all have them take their right arm, put it all the way across their body, take the left arm, put it over the elbow like so. And it doesn't matter if you don't have the right sides, but you're going to put it over your elbow like so. Very nice. Cool. And straighten this hand out as far as you can. So this is actually pushing on it. Very nice. Good. Now you should feel that right here. Over in your shoulder, and then take this hand all the way down to your wrist. So this actually pulls in just that little bit more, all the way down to your wrist. Very good. And then you can release that. Take this arm over the top and behind yourself like so. If you can, with the other hand, reach. So you're kind of going to be reaching towards the back of your neck. If on the other hand you can connect there, that's great. If you can't, that's okay too. Just make sure that you're not tilting your head downwards. Make sure that your head is nice and on top of yourself. That's great, very good. We can release that. Then take your other arm, the arm that was not back here, take it across, and you're just going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So make sure this is nice and extended like so. Take it down to the wrist, pull in slightly. Very good. And then one more time over top like so. Awesome. And if you can't connect here, like I really can't connect here, just grab your neck and then keep this elbow nice and outstretched like so. Also keep your head right on top of your neck. That's great. And release. Now I'm going to tilt my computer down a little bit. And yes, teachers, you should be wearing full pants during your lessons. And you should encourage your students to do the same. But we are actually going to do a workout on the legs. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your right leg. And it's okay. You don't have to tilt your own camera down if you're a student. That's okay too. And some students will probably cheat and won't do this part, but that's okay. You float your right leg into your hand and hold it up like this, making sure that your hips are nice and straight. Now, if you're losing balance, just hold in your core and act as if there's a string on the top of your head just pulling you up like so. Then take it out to the side if you can where you are. Some people won't be able to do this, and that's okay. You can also do variations seated. And also make sure, because my hip likes to go up like this, make sure that your hips are nice and centered, nice and straight. And then take it out to the back, hold it by the ankle, the most common stretch. Very good, very good. Also making sure your hips are nice and straight. And then kick out the leg, nice and outstretched. And then shake it all the way down to the floor. Now, you're going to want your participants to do the other side as well before we go into the face. But for now, with my participants, we're going to just go into the face massage. So wipe your hands off because you're going to be touching your face. So wipe your hands off. And then what you're going to be doing is going up to your head and rolling in. This is a beautiful face massage. All right, and then what we're going to do is go down to the eyebrows, and then we're going to go in and out with the eyebrows like so, just kind of moving them around a little bit. Then we're going to take our middle finger and our index finger up to our temples, and we're going to roll in like so, and go nice up and close to my face. Oh, I'm lost by the light there. There we go. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to our nose, and we're going to take our nose and just lightly brush it off. Nothing too heavy, just some nice light brushing of the nose, letting out that snot a little bit. Very good. Then we're going to go to the mustache area, or the upper lip here. We're just going to move that around a little bit. Very good. Then we're going to take our thumbs and our index finger all the way to the top of the jaw, and then draw down the line of the jaw and release at the bottom. Very good. And release at the bottom. And one more time, releasing at the bottom. Very good. Then we're going to take our 2 index fingers right to the bottom, right here, and we're going to just lightly poke and massage here. We're actually massaging our tongue muscle. This is our tongue muscle. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of students love learning about that, especially when you ask your class to go like this and then move your tongue around, and you can actually feel your tongue muscle right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the last part of our warm-up, and what that is tightening up the face and then releasing it as wide as possible. It looks like this. So when you tighten up your face, you just really tighten up all the muscles in your face, and then when you release all of them, they'll open up wide. So we're going to close tight and release, and close tight and release. And then you can shake it out at home. And then lastly, what you're going to want your students to do is get into a nice position, feet shoulder width apart, and we're just going to do a nice little roll down. So from our head, our shoulders will lean forward, we'll bend forward all the way down, making sure that we're stepping right in the middle of those feet. Once we're down here, you can ask your students to take a couple of breaths. Deep breaths in and out, and on a deep breath in, and on a breath out, you're going to roll up your body all the way up. The last thing to happen are the shoulders, which will roll into their sockets, and then the head, which will roll up on top of the neck. You can ask your students to do this in their own times. And of course, when you're teaching this course, you'll most likely have your settings on gallery view, so you'll really be able to check out what everybody's doing. And then you can ask everybody to just shake it out, and that is our warm-up. Now that we've done our physical warm-up, it's time to move on to warm-up games. And the first warm-up game that I played with my virtual classroom is a very basic one called Name, Clap, Focus. Now, just like Clap, Focus in a physical space, you're going to have your students clap directly at the camera and say a name. If your students don't already know each other's names, they can easily scroll their cursor over the screen and everyone's name will pop up. And now, for a practical example of Name, Clap, Focus, I take you back to our virtual classroom. We'll start with Christine. And Christine, what you're going to do is you are just going to say somebody else's name. When that person hears their name, they are then going to say the name of somebody else. I'm going to also give you a little advance note once we've got that down pat. So we'll start with Christine. You can say any name that you want. As you can see, if you go across your Zoom list of people, you can see everybody's name right there. Here we go.
Vicky.
Sarvi. Luis.
Christian.
Alan.
Sarvi.
Christine.
Sarvi.
Vicky. Luis.
Sarvi.
Christian.
Christine.
Luis.
Alan.
Yeah! Clap Focus, as you can see, brings awareness at the top of an improv classroom, as well as energy. And now, we'll give them a little variation on this exercise. For the next part of this exercise, ask your students to not only say somebody's new name, but instead say the name of the person who called on them and then throw it to somebody new. And I'll give you an example of that right now. So we're going to start once again with number 1, Christine.
Alan. Luis.
Christine. Vicky.
Luis. Christian.
Vicky. Sarvi.
Christian. Alan.
Sarvi. Christine.
Alan. Sarvi.
Christine. Vicky. Sarvi. Alan.
Awesome. That's really, really great. So this is obviously a very beginner warm-up for your improv class. I like to build on my improv warm-up. So the next game that I play with my virtual classroom is called word association. Now I'm going to number students like we would to create a virtual circle in the classroom as this game goes in order of participants. Now, one participant is just responsible for associating with another participant's word. So here we go. Let's check it out. I will start and then pass it to our number one, which is Vicky. And the word I'm going to start with is boots.
Laces. Socks.
Shoes.
Pants.
Shirts. Store.
Mall.
Balloon. So let's say that happens when one of your students says something that is totally unassociated with the thing that came before. Well, we always want to keep a positive atmosphere in an improv studio. So we never want to go back and say like, that was wrong. Instead we say, okay, that's what came out of your mouth at the time. So the next person will associate their next word with that. We're going to try to always keep the association actually associated, but if on their feet the student can't think of the association and they say something else, well, let's just go with that to keep that lovely positive atmosphere up in the improv classroom. Now, in the theme of advancing games, the way that I like to advance word association is by using the first word that is given and associating around and back to that first word. So let's say the first word is beach. You'd associate all the way far away from beach and then figure out a way to associate words to come back to the word beach. Let's take a look at that game now. So we will start with beach.
Ball. Sunscreen.
Sand.
Castle.
Pail. Children.
Seagull.
Ocean.
Seaweed. Little Mermaid.
Crabs.
Shrimp.
Shells. Beach.
Yeah, very, very good. So as you see, we just associate right back to that first word that we had. Our next warm-up game is a familiar one called One Word Story, where our participants will make up a story one word at a time based off of suggestions that I give to them. Now, you may find that it takes a couple of times for your classroom to get a cohesive one-word story going. So always remind your students to pay close attention to all of the information that came before so they can add new information into the story. Let's take a look. This time the suggestion will be Broadway.
Ooh.
And we'll start with one.
I
Love. Going.
To
Broadway!
Oh, shoot. I messed that up. Okay, so we'll go with I love going to Broadway, right? That's what was just said.
Mhm.
I
Absolutely
Love. Seeing.
play.
Where
everyone
dances.
Tomorrow. I'm.
Going.
to
see
Cats.
If. There.
Are.
tickets.
unfortunately
They
It froze on.
unfortunately they
Unfortunately, they didn't. 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 Unfortunately, they So,
I
dressed
up
as
a sorry, a
diva.
So, what we had in this story, obviously, was somebody wanted to go to Broadway. They wanted to get tickets for Cats, but it was sold out, so they dressed up like a diva anyway, and that's the moral of the story. Your one-word stories never need to be too complex, but if you want to add another layer onto one-word story, you could do emotional one-word story. This is when you add an emotion into your story, like sadness or elation, and the students will use that suggestion in their one-word story, which creates a lot of energy and excitement as you're playing that game. Now, the last warm-up game in this first improv video is called Sound and Action Pass. And as you'll see, participants in this class are going to pass a sound and an action like so. Woo! And then they'll say someone's name. That person who they call on is responsible for passing that sound and action back, woo! And then adding their own sound and action. Woo! As you can see, it's a really silly game, but it really brings the energy up in your last warm-up game before you get to your improv exercises in your lesson. Here we go. Christian, woo!
hold on. So do I repeat yours and then do mine?
Yeah, you repeat yours, say a new name, and then do your new sound and action.
Cool, cool.
So I'll just repeat that again. Christian, woo!
Wee Christine. Blah.
Vicky. Ooh.
Christine. Ooh. Ashley. Louise.
Alan. Woo!
Woo! Awesome. So that's a pretty basic game as well. And what you'll want to do after your class is done playing their first game is you're going to want to tell them to take it up 10 times and really push through that sound and that action. So we're going to do one version with that. And here is how this one is going to look. Luis, wah!
Wah! Christian. Ha-ba-ba-ba-ba!
Vicky. Whoa!
Whoa! Christine.
Sarvi.
Alan.
So you can have a lot of fun with this game at home in your virtual classroom. Now that our class is all warmed up, we're going to move into an exercise called sound effects. This exercise is simply about creating various sound effects. Every student will give another student a sound effect to create. Once that student is done creating the sound effect, they will call on another student and give them a sound effect to do. Let's see it in action. Christine, telephone.
Bring, bring. Sarvi. Dog.
Vicky. Vicky. Ice cream truck. Christian. A witch.
Alan. A cow.
As you can see, that's a fun and silly exercise, but you can also have your students bring in sound effects to color their scenes once they get to scene work. So this all leads to more advanced work within improvisation. Now our next exercise is a game called IMA. And this is really to work on the environment within a scene, because every good scene usually has an environment that we know that they're in. So this game is all about creating that environment yourself. your students will come in and say something like, I'm a chair. Then the next student will come in and they will do something to complement that. I'm a picture. And then maybe the next student comes in and says, I'm a rug. And of course, we find ourselves at some sort of mansion. Let's see what our participants came up with.
I'm a coffee pot.
Right, we have a coffee pot.
I'm a mug.
Cool, okay.
I'm the coffee aroma.
Ooh.
I'm the cream.
I'm the spoon.
I'm the counter.
I'm the coffee pot.
I'm the filter.
Sweetener.
You the what, Christian?
I'm the sweetener.
Sweetener, okay. Let's have one more.
I'm a chair.
Awesome, that's great. So now what I really want everybody to do is expand your world a little bit. So instead of just being an inanimate object, you can be the inanimate object, but let's actually create the environment, the atmosphere, a room. So in saying that, let's try it one more time.
I'm a painting.
What are you, Vicky?
I'm a plant.
Okay, all right.
I'm a water fountain.
Okay,
I'm a candle.
nice. Where could this be?
I'm a yoga mat.
Yeah, awesome. So that's really great. As you can see, we were building to create this yoga studio. We had the painting. We didn't quite know where we were going yet. We had a waterfall. We had all these different things. And then it was really brought together by the yoga mat. So you're going to want to try to push your students into creating this great new awesome location. The way to continue that game going is by keeping something that was in that room and then starting again. So you could keep, for instance, the yoga mat, and then they'd have to try to create a new location with that yoga mat or any of the other objects that were used in that exercise. At this point in our lesson, we want to start working on scene work with our participants. But because this is a pre-beginner course, most likely your students haven't necessarily done full-on improv scenes. That's why our next game is called Conversations. This is a simple game in which your participants will have a conversation with one another based off of a suggestion that you give them. They don't have to perform or do anything specific. All they need to do is have a regular conversation with one another. It's interesting what you'll find. And we're going to start with Sarvi and Christian. I won't have any suggestion at all. All we're going to do is watch them have a regular conversation. No pressure at all. So here we go.
I've worn like the same stuff every day for the past week.
I have two. I've probably done laundry just a couple times because it's like, why not? You know, what are we anyway?
Yeah, and like I'm only gonna wear the same jogger and the same t-shirt, so like I don't see a point in doing like a whole load. Okay.
Yeah. I also tell like, my mom's like, oh, have you been eating healthy? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And then like, I'm staring at my Chinese food.
Yeah, I know.
Just like, and like, I always get soda.
I know. It's impossible. You need a pleasure somewhere. You need to find it somewhere. And right now it's just
Yeah. You know how they call it like, oh, it's my cheat day. Like this has been for me like a cheat season.
yeah, cheat season.
So
Awesome. That's really great. So as you can see, even having a normal conversation, it's really interesting. I mean, you can even ask your participants like, Vicky, how did you feel about that conversation? Was it entertaining or boring?
It was entertaining and relatable.
Yeah, you don't need to do much to create an awesome and compelling scene or to go many places and even to be funny. So that's a great lesson to bestow upon your participants in your class, that you don't even need to be funny. It's just kind of easy. Improv is just every day. So let's just try one more for fun. And let's do Sarvi and Vicky, just normal conversation. And here we go. Let's see where we get to.
I saw a dog yesterday for the first time in a long time.
Oh, what kind?
It was like a terrier rescue mix, and
I don't really know terriers.
it was little. Yeah,
Yeah, that's all I care about. Tininess. Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
really cute.
Oh my God. I need something right now. Really bad. Something to squeeze.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
So
yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's just like the age or that I'm at right now, or like the way that I feel in this moment, because I am wearing the same clothes every day right now. And I need some sort of like what do you call it, like pet therapy or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's what is it called when you have a dog for
I was having trouble too. I was like, oh my God, what service dog.
service dog? Yeah. I need purpose.
Oh,
I need a
a
dog.
routine gives you a routine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. We all need dogs in our life. Isn't that true? We all need dogs. Awesome. So as you can see, conversations just happen naturally. And so this is really about banging home to your students when they're really improvising for the first time, that they don't need to really do too much to improvise. Things just flow naturally if you let them. For this last exercise in our first improvisational video, we're going to do a game called Who, Where, Who, What. Now, this is a game all about establishing scenes, which is the most important part when you're doing an improv scene. It's very important off the top of the scene to establish who the characters are to each other, what relationship they have with one another, where the characters are and where the scene takes place, and also what the scene is about. This exercise teaches students how to do just that, and I'll explain how it works in the practical virtual classroom. So what we're going to do is we're going to pair up your participants in the class, and we're going to get one of them to do a who where, and then the other to follow up with a who what. It's very, very basic language, so you can really title characters like grandma or grandson to really establish a relationship. You can really say like, grandma, it's great to be in the grocery store. Like, that is how easy you can go with the language. It's just really a dumbing down to show how to establish a scene. Once the pairs have done it one way, then you're going to switch the pairs around. So the person who did the who where this time will do the who what. And the person that did the who what will now do the who where. So our first participants for this are going to be Christine and Vicky. Christine, I'm going to have you do the who where, and Vicky, I'm going to have you do the who what. Okay, so you're going to do the establishing line, Christine, and you can take your time to think about your next line. Again, just who, where, and who, what in 2 lines.
Mom, thank you for bringing me to the ice cream store.
Of course, honey. I had to bring you here to celebrate your good grades.
Yeah. So the who, where, obviously, in a very dumbed down version. This is how you isn't how you would actually start a scene, but for purposes of this exercise and for learning, what the who, where was is this is a mother-daughter combo. They're in the ice cream store and they're celebrating good grades. That's as easy and as simple as it is. So now we're gonna have Sarvi and Christian. And Sarvi, I want you to do the who, where, and Christian, you the who, what.
Sorry, officer. I didn't know this was a handicap spot.
That's okay, Mayor Douglas. You're welcome to park in any Walmart parking spot you want.
Okay, cool. So we did have the who where. It was an officer, as we knew at first. Then it was the mayor, which is pretty great. And they're in a parking lot. Now, what is the scene about? You could say that this person is kind of parked illegally, but you want to go back and tell that person, like, let's just try establishing one of the things, because the who, where, and the what were kind of established all in one. So now let's flip it around. We're going to do, Vicky, you're going to do the who, where, and Christine, you're going to do the who, what. And let's try it the other way around.
Sorry. Doctor, I need to know if my cat will be all right.
Mrs. Jenkins, Your cat may have a big injury, but we're going to give him the best treatment possible.
All right, very good. So that was obviously veterinarian and patron who's bringing a sick animal into a veterinary hospital. And to really bang that home, we can really say veterinary hospital. Now, this is a hard exercise. It's really not that easy. Even when we actually get into doing actual improv scenes, it's even hard for us to go back and even go back to these basics of establishing. Eventually, by doing this exercise, we will work this in to our actual improv scenes. Thanks for watching this pre-beginner improv professional development video. For some more advanced exercises, check out the beginner and intermediate improv video located in the same folder, as well as our musical improv series. If you want to find out more information on improv classes, visit improvasylum.com, where you'll find information about our virtual classes, as well as shows and classes when we're able to gather together again in the future. I hope you were able to take some of these exercises from this video into your own classroom. Remember to be patient with your Zoom classroom, and above all else, have fun.